Hi, I'm delighted to be joined this morning by Angela Carrington of the Bigger Picture Agency. Um, Angela runs a photographic agency, a number of photographers on the staff, and really focuses on the Northeast and what's great about the Northeast in terms of taking the photographs and spreading the word about businesses and organisations in the Northeast. And yeah, the lockdown really stopped for a short period of time, stopped the agency from operating. So it's great to be able to talk to Angela about how they adapted and got through the lockdown. So welcome, Angela. Nice
Hi.
to see you again. So Angela, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your business and what you do, rather than me tell everybody.
Yeah, as you know, Gareth, we very much started as a purely a photographic agency, and then over the past kind of 2-3 years, we've developed it into being a full media agency, really. So we offer video, case study films, live streaming, as well as the standard photography that we always did. So we tend to work at the space that we work in is very much for marketing agencies, PR agencies, or larger companies that have got an in-house marketing department, and we help to provide them with the content that they need to use across social media, websites, brochures. And as we all know, social media is a very hungry beast, and it needs a lot of content. So it's worked out quite well for us.
Right. Yeah. Great. Good. So diverse work and across a number of sectors, and really focusing on construction, PR. Anything else?
Construction, PR. We tend to do a lot of case studies nowadays. So whether it be photographic or film, we'll go and go into a company. They'll say, for example, they're an engineering firm, and they're bidding for a tender to produce something for a larger organisation or a key client for them, key stakeholder. There's no better way to show how well you can fulfil their brief, their what they need produced, than by showing off about how well you did the last one. So what we tend to do then is go and delve into that a little bit in a bit more depth. So we'll photograph or we'll film what they did for a previous client. We'll interview the client, we'll interview somebody from the company, and put together quite a compelling little case study that speaks volumes. And there really is no better way to promote yourself than if someone else is promoting yourself for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Okay. So at what point, in all of this, with the kind of work that you've got in construction, PR, events as well, I know you're involved with, at what point did you realize that there was going to be an impact of the coronavirus pandemic commercially?
Yeah. Obviously, throughout March, we knew something was going to happen, but weren't sure about the severity of it at that stage. We're quite lucky in that we could keep working right up until the point where it was basically when we lost the last construction piece of work. I knew it was big trouble. So once we got banned from going on any construction sites to record progress or film, progress with a drone, that kind of thing, as soon as that stopped, I thought, oh dear, we're in a bit of a pickle here. Also, the other massive indicator was the week before the official lockdown, we had about 15, maybe perhaps quite up to £20,000 worth of event work cancelled like that within 48 hours.
Right.
That was a shock.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that happened before the construction guys stopped, because they kept going for a bit longer, and some of them kept going throughout the entire lockdown. Legally, they were allowed to on certain sites, but what it was is that anyone that doesn't work for their company wasn't allowed on the site, so that's why we got booted off kind of a week or so into lockdown.
Right.
But yeah, the event work was a bit of a shocker. That's when we knew it was very serious.
That was the first real impact. That
yeah. Because up until then, we can work quite safely. We can work outdoors. We can still operate. And I remember probably mid March, we were supposed to be going down to Nottingham to film a case study. I still would have gone and filmed that.
Right.
We were quite prepared to do it with gloves. We were working at that point very cleanly and we were very aware of the situation. So myself and Jason, who heads up our film department, was still prepared to go. We probably wouldn't have travelled separately. That came a little bit later when you realised that you couldn't do that. But we were still going to go. We were going to be prepared to wear masks and do everything in a way that was clean and safe. But that the client pulled the plug actually on that one.
Right. Yeah. So you realised that you'd lost a certain number of contracts. Clients had pulled their work back. So how did you adapt after that?
So the first thing I did was a bit of crisis management, and I crunched the numbers, which you wouldn't have believed I would have done if it was 5 years ago. But that's from working with you. So I made a spreadsheet of the work that we'd lost, so I knew exactly what that figure was. And then I made a spreadsheet. And then I did a cash flow forecast. Luckily, we'd had some savings in the business bank account because we'd been in the process of buying some commercial property. So that was great that it was there. Obviously, didn't really want to use it in this way, but what I needed to do was see how long that would last, and the best way to do that. And the immediate things we did were to minimise the outgoings, so batten down the hatches, cancel everything that could be cancelled, and then see kind of how long the money lasts, basically.
Yep.
And when I'd done that, that made me feel a bit better, because it's the not knowing that's worse than anything, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
So definitely knowledge was power in that sense.
Right.
And then the second thing we did was decided to do something proactive, and we did it really, really quickly because I knew that there'd be a need for this. So I developed a little package called Solo Cast. Because I recognised that businesses were going to need to be able to do little pieces to camera, and we could do that over Zoom. So in a similar way to what you're doing here now, we would have a quick consultation with a person, tell them how best to light things, tell them where to position the camera, the microphone, and then we would facilitate the interview, talk them through it, record them, and then piece that together with their brand elements, any graphs, any infographics that they needed, and they'd get a really professional result from it. That was really good, and it was popular. Even if it hadn't been popular, it didn't matter because we were the first people to get something like that out there.
Right.
I've seen similar companies launching things like this only last week, so they're 10 weeks behind us, really. I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just I was very aware that it was going to be needed, and Zoom was going to be so important. So yeah, that was the first thing. And the second thing that we did that was proactive was we decided to produce a short film, not for money, not for commercial gain, purely as a way of doing something nice, really. I knew it would have an effect of building our brand, but it was genuinely let's celebrate our region. And we collaborated with a local poet called Ali Davies, and we produced a short film that went viral pretty much certainly in the northeast of England. It's had tens of thousands of views, picked up by the media, the Chronicle posted it everywhere. It just went huge, and we did that by just piecing together repurposed content from previous jobs. So a lot of it was drone footage, film footage, photography, celebrating our region. So they were our two really positive, proactive things done within 2 weeks of the lockdown. And it actually meant then I could kind of not sit back, but be like, right, okay, we've got stuff out there. It's out there working for us now.
Visibility.
Which was really, it was done, and it was done quickly. I certainly learned. I lived through the last recession in business, and I know that the people that went quiet and stopped marketing are the ones that didn't survive. So it was the biggest lesson, probably one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned. So that's what we did.
Yeah, and great visibility for you with those with film, but also with the solo cast, whether
Yeah.
it was successful commercially or not, the visibility that you got from that.
It did okay. It didn't, you know, it didn't set the world on fire, but it did okay, and it certainly did its job in terms of promotion.
Yeah, brilliant, good. So, what have the wins been for you over the last 10 weeks? I guess I lose track of how many weeks it's been. But
yeah, about 10, I think.
Yeah.
The wins would be, I would say, solo casts worked out really nicely.
Right.
Kind of helping people to produce things using content they've already got, or guiding them through how to create their own content.
Mm-hmm.
That's worked well.
Right.
But the other kind of really unexpected win was a pivot that I didn't see coming whatsoever. But we started to get lots of inquiries for funerals. So,
right.
But it's on the subject, sorry. But because of the restrictions, you were only initially allowed 12 people, then it was 15. I think it's 20 now. But you're only allowed a certain number of people at a funeral. Now, people don't stop dying because there is a pandemic, whether it's anything to do with COVID or not. And there was a real need there. People were stuck abroad, couldn't come back for close family members' funerals. People wanted more than 15 people at a funeral and just simply couldn't have it. There was no ifs or buts about it. That was the law, and still is the law in certain situations. And what we did was we provided, there's two different levels of service that we could give, and one was to just film the service and put together a nice little piece for them. So upload it really quickly after the services. We prepare everything beforehand as much as possible. We can intersperse photographs and things in there and get it all ready to just drop the footage in. And the other one is to actually provide a live stream service. Now, the live stream service is totally dependent on internet access, so that's difficult where there isn't internet access. We've actually found a way to get over it now. So one of our associates, one of our freelancers, Gav, who does a lot of the live streaming work with us, he's got this amazing bit of kit, because we talked about it. We tried to solve the problem of what we do if there isn't internet. That's why we've got the two levels of coverage. And we've now got this bit of kit that I can't think of a better word. It has 4 different SIM cards in it, and it melds the 4G signal together into one strong bonded kind of bandwidth. It's absolutely insane. So we can live stream pretty much, with a caveat there, but pretty much from anywhere, because this isn't going to go away. It's not going to go away quickly. So even when you're allowed 20 people, what about weddings? Venues at the minute are talking with brides and grooms and saying, well, we think we can go ahead in July, but it's going to be kind of in a bubble. You're only allowed so many people, and people have to be distanced. So what happens in that situation? There's an opportunity there, and that's what we've done to kind of get over that, is make sure that we're ready to deal with that opportunity should it arise. So it was an unexpected pivot and an unexpected win. And I struggled with it a little bit, thinking, do I really want to be winning from someone else's misfortune? But I've totally got my head around this now, and it's actually really nice to be able to offer the service. It's nice.
It's an important service, isn't it, for people that can't
really
be there? They want to see it.
It's quite a privilege to be there and do it. It's nice. Yeah,
one of the 20 people that's invited there, and to record it for people to experience and to be part of it. Great. Okay. Good. So it's great that you've had those wins and been able to adapt and innovate as well in order to realize those wins. The best wins are the ones that you create yourself, aren't they? And you've really done that. So wins often come out of challenges. What have the biggest issues been that you've had to overcome?
Apart from the financial, obviously making sure that there's going to be enough money and making that money last as long as possible, that's a given. I suppose the other one is from a managerial point of view. It's team morale. It's how do you keep everybody happy, feeling secure? It's a very uncertain time, and I'm very conscious about that. We're not a massive team, but we're a team of 5 people, and I feel like I need to kind of make sure everyone's okay. So that's
Right.
probably been the biggest challenge, I think, for me. I wouldn't say I've done it particularly well. I think I've done it okay, but other than forcing a Zoom conferencing call on everyone every day to make sure they're all right, I don't feel that's appropriate either necessarily
Yeah.
for our team. But yeah, that's been probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, and different teams need different inputs and
yeah, and different people within the team need different inputs. So the ones that need a bit more support, I've given it.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very specific to you. That I don't think one size fits all in anything like that. So you got to find your own path and adjust. Yeah.
I don't think that there's a long-term substitute for face-to-face either. I know that business is going to change and the business landscape is going to change the way we work, but I still think that face-to-face is needed.
Yeah, we're social animals, aren't we? We need that interaction. Yeah. Yeah, good. Okay. So, some things may go back to normal afterwards and some may not. What adjustments that you've made during the lockdown are you going to try to keep going as we come out of lockdown?
I think one of the first things that I'll do is try and have. I don't like going out for meetings anyway, because for me, having a meeting at 11 o'clock at somebody's offices is not a waste of time. It's absolutely not a waste of time, but it's a real inconvenience because that's our chargeable time.
Right.
So those meetings, I want to switch to Zoom meetings because I think they can be just as effective. I don't need to sit opposite somebody, spend 30 minutes driving to somewhere, have a consultation, it's 2 or 3 hours gone out of the day.
Yeah.
Substituting those for Zoom meetings will be something that I really, really will take forward. Other than that, from a work point of view, I think enabling other people to be able to produce their own content's good. I've run a few courses before in companies to show them how to do things. It's never a substitute for a professional, and I can safely say that because I used to worry about giving those courses and think, oh God, I'm doing myself out of work, and I never ever did because they still would come back for certain stuff. But I think enabling other people to produce things that we can then perhaps tart up a little bit at the end is good. And the live streaming work, I think there's a real market for that going forward, massive.
Yeah, both live events and within businesses. Yeah. Right. Very good. So some real opportunities that have come out of this disaster, really, in many ways, that you can continue forward and learn from. So, learning's part of any of this, isn't it, in business? So looking back, thinking about the 1st of March, so about 3 to 4 weeks before the lockdown actually happened, what would you have done sooner in hindsight? Is there anything that you would have done sooner?
I don't think I could have done anything sooner, anything more proactive than what we did. We kind of had a bit of a slightly different approach into it, where we did keep working almost beyond the lockdown.
Right.
There's clients where I could still go and shoot legally, safely, outdoors. I've got one big client, a big contract that I won last summer, which is mainly outdoors, and that's kept going as normal. So we're not like a bar that had to shut on a certain day and it's all gone. It's not been like, it's a little bit grayer for us. That being said, I think if anything, it would be again about the team. I think that I perhaps would have done a little bit more reassuring, but it was what it was, and we talked about it a lot before. We did have to shut the studio, but yeah, I can't really think of anything that I could have done differently.
Yeah, our team is obviously really important to you. It's you're nothing in business without your team, and that comes through strongly for you in particular in your business. So yeah, good. So we're starting to come out of lockdown now, starting to make those steps. What are you most looking forward to post lockdown?
I think business-wise, I'm really looking forward to getting back to working with other people again. So I've been working solo on projects. I've been doing quite a lot of product photography throughout the lockdown, because again, that's something that could be done safely. Right. So people were dropping off boxes of stuff, and then I was shooting it, editing it, and getting it back out again.
Yeah.
That was quite nice, but it is very solo. So I'm looking forward to working with our in-house team again, and also collaborating with our gang of merry freelancers, our associates, the ones that they're a big part of our company, and they're across the whole region, and some of them are beyond, some of them are further down south. So I'm looking forward to getting back to working with other people, I think.
Right, yeah, connecting with people again, and being more social. Excellent. So one final question, Ange, and in business, perhaps the most important one even, it's what have you learned about yourself during this whole situation?
I think I'm quite content in this situation. After the initial 10 days, oh my God, what we're going to do? Which I wouldn't say I was in panic mode. It was more concern, but really focused on how to make it better. After that, I've kind of got into that I quite like. It reminds me of when I was a freelancer. It reminds me of the bigger picture agency. That's what it reminds me of. And although I'm enjoying it, I'm not saying I would want to do it forever. But what have I learned? I can adapt.
Yeah, you knew that about yourself anyway, though, didn't you?
I think I did. I've been through the mill in business a bit, so I know I'm resilient. But the ability to adapt, and I've adapted without any real bother. So I like to be able to do things outside of work, and what this has given me is the ability to do that. So whether that's fitness, reading, studying for my hobbies, the maritime stuff that I do. You'll probably see I've got stuff everywhere. I'm learning stuff about charts and things that
you've got your guitars in the background as well.
I'm playing my guitar. So I think what I need to take forward is make sure that I don't lose that again when things do go back fully to normal, and I feel quite passionate about that now. Otherwise, what's the point in doing it if you're not enjoying life?
Absolutely. We talk about
I want to enjoy life.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we talk about work-life balance, don't we? In and
mine's been rubbish.
Right. Yeah, but this really brought it home to people. And you're obviously one of those that
definitely
very relevant to. Yeah. Very good. Excellent. Thanks, Ange. It's been great talking to you as ever.
No problem. You too.
Good to have your insights on how this lockdown's been. I hope people can learn something from it and take something from it for their business and what they're going to do coming out the other side.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.